If you're cruising on Ruby Princess out of San Francisco, embarkation day can either feel smooth and stress-free or confusing and chaotic. San Francisco is a working port in a busy downtown, and if you don't know what to expect, it can catch you off guard.
Today we're going to walk you through exactly what embarkation looks like on Ruby Princess from our home port of San Francisco. From arriving at the pier to checking in to the first moment you step on board. You'll see the secret to the green lane check-in, the best time to arrive to avoid the Embarcadero traffic, and we time the process from curb to ship so you know what to expect on your vacation. Let's start with the port itself. The San Francisco cruise port Ruby Princess uses is located at Pier 27, right along the Embarcadero. This is a shared industrial port space, not a purpose-built cruise complex. That means there are fewer signs, less crowd flow directions, and more reliance on port staff to guide you. When you arrive, the first thing you'll notice is that everything feels very functional. It's not fancy, but it does work well if you follow the process. Traffic can back up quickly, especially if multiple ships are in port. If you're arriving by rideshare, shuttle, or being dropped off, patience is the key. And if you're driving yourself, parking is off-site and handled through nearby garages. Definitely something you want to arrange in advance or maybe try to avoid. It is expensive and very limited. Try a hotel who has a stay and park offering if you are coming the day before the cruise. Another thing to note, Pier 27 is stunning from the outside. It's that big glass modern building, but once you're inside the shed, it can get loud. If you have sensitive ears or get overwhelmed by crowds, bring some headphones for this part.
And San Francisco is a tighter port than other cruise ports. If you arrive early like we did, the curbside drop-off is fast, but San Francisco's shuffle starts the moment you hit the sidewalk. One tip is security is thorough. No open water or sodas. Keep them sealed or they go in the bin. And don't forget the weather. San Francisco is famous for its microclimates. Even if it's sunny at your hotel, the wind whipping off the bay at the pier can be freezing. Wear layers. You'll be standing in a drafty terminal for a bit, so keep a light jacket handy in your carry-on. Who was it? Mark Twain that said, "The coldest winter I ever spent was summer in San Francisco."
Yeah. Once you reach the terminal area, porters will be available right outside to take your checked luggage. Make sure your luggage is already the tags are already attached before you arrive. That alone can save you several minutes and a lot of stress. Porters are efficient and they're there to help you. Help them by being organized and ready. This is a busy port and things move fast, but please remember to tip them. They will certainly appreciate it.
After you hand over your bags, you'll keep only what you plan to carry on board with you. Documents, medications, electronics, and anything you want for the first few hours. Make sure you have your passport. You don't want to be denied boarding because your passport is being taken away by an unsuspecting porter.
Yeah, and once the doors are open, and that's usually around 10:30, you may have to wait if you come earlier, we did, is the security screening. This process is very simple, and it's similar to airport security with metal detectors and bag scanners, but it generally moves fast. You can leave on things like watches, but not Apple watches, and belts, but your phone or anything in your pocket needs to go into the scanner. Believe me, you will be told this many times while you're waiting in the queue. Help everyone out and be prepared when it's your turn. A quick tip for the security line, have your boarding pass and ID ready to go before you even reach the scanners. Also, remember the liquid rules. Well, factory sealed sodas or waters are usually fine. Any open containers or refillable bottles often need to be emptied before you pass through. If you have an Apple Watch, be sure to take it off. Again, it will alarm and you will need to go through security additional scanning. After security, the terminal opens up into the big check-in area. You'll see the distinct paths, the green lane, the blue lane, and the accessibility lane. The green lane, which is where you want to go, is the fast track, and it's for those who have completed everything in the app and their medallions and had their medallions mailed home. In our case, we never stopped walking, but for literally 10 seconds it took for the check-in person to scan our medallions. It was the first, but certainly not the last time we saw how efficient medallion technology is. Try to be in the line. You'll breeze through document verification.
If you didn't get your medallion in the mail or your app status says incomplete, you'll head to the blue lane. Don't sweat it. Staff members are there to help you finish your check-in and hand over your medallion right at the desk. There's also a gray lane for accessibility. This is specific for guests with mobility issues and those using wheelchairs, providing a more direct and manageable path through the terminal. Regardless of your lanes, make sure you have your physical passport and required travel documents in your hand, not tucked away in your carry-on. Even with the facial recognition technology, the agents still need to verify your official ID. If you're a Platinum or Elite Loyal member or staying in a suite, look for signs for priority check-in. This can often bypass the main lines entirely and get you into a dedicated lounge area even faster.
Yeah, once you're checked in, you'll move into the main waiting area until your boarding group is called. Since Pier 27 is a multi-use terminal, seating is limited, and this area can feel pretty crowded, especially during the peak 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. rush. However, if you arrive early, there may be no waiting time at all. When we went through, we never stopped moving. Awesome. This is where having realistic expectations really helps in arriving at peak hours. This isn't a luxury airport lounge. It's a holding area for basic plastic chairs and high ceilings. If you're traveling with a large group, try to find a home base, but be prepared to stand for a bit if you arrive right in the thick of things. The boarding process is organized by groups. Keep an eye on the large monitors and listen for overhead announcements. They usually start with the Elite, Platinum, and Suite guests, then move through to numbered boarding groups assigned at check-in.
A pro tip for this stage: keep your medallion around your neck or on your wrist and easily accessible. You'll need to scan it one last time before you hit the gangway. Also, this is the perfect time to finish the check-in checklist on Princess app if you haven't already. The good news is that once the ship is cleared by customs, boarding tends to move steadily. Even if the room looks packed, the line usually keeps flowing. And if you get restless, use this time to connect your ship's Wi-Fi. It's much easier to troubleshoot your connection while you're sitting in the terminal than when you're caught in the excitement of the Lido deck.
And then comes that moment when your group number is called. You head through the final scanner, walk through the gangway, and catch the first close-up view of the hull. This is where the terminal chaos fades away and the vacation officially begins. The transition is instant. You forget the stress of getting to go pack for your trip, stopping the mail, arranging for your pet to be taken care of, or whatever it is now fading away. You go from busy, potentially chaotic situation into the elegance of Ruby Princess. As you step into the piazza, the heart of the ship, you'll be greeted by live music, the smell of fresh pastries from the International Cafe, and a crew that is genuinely excited to see you. Crew members will be stationed at the entrance to greet you, scan your medallion one last time for security, and point you towards the elevators. Staterooms usually aren't ready until about 1 or 1:30. The staff will generally direct you to deck 15 or 16 for lunch. Remember, there are less busy options if you're peckish. The International Cafe on Deck 5 has nice food, both hot and cold, and is usually not crazy like Embarkation Day buffet can be.
Now, don't be surprised if the elevators are a bit bottlenecked right now. If you're able-bodied and only have a small carry-on, taking the stairs can be much faster and a great way to start getting your sea legs ready. Or try the forward or aft elevator lobbies. They may be a little less crowded. While you wait for the staterooms are ready announcement, use that time to drop your dining reservation by the dining reservation desk if you have any special requests, and just find a spot on the sun deck to watch the bustling of the San Francisco waterfront. It's just beautiful. Crucial airplane mode reminder. This is the best time to do it. As soon as the ship pulls away from Pier 27, your cell service will try to connect to that cellular at-sea network. It's notoriously expensive. Switch to airplane mode now, or at the very latest, the moment you see the beautiful Golden Gate Bridge.
Before you head for a snack or grab that first cocktail, there is one homework item you must do, and that's the safety briefing. Gone are the days of standing in the sun wearing a bulky life preserver on the deck for an hour while they call out names. Princess has made this so much easier, but you can't skip it. It's a two-step process. First, find a comfortable spot and watch the safety video on your phone or mobile device. You can do this via the Princess app as well. The moment you board, or wait until you're in your cabin and watch it on your stateroom TV. Step 2 is the most important, but you must physically go to your assigned muster station. Your station letter is printed right on your medallion and is also listed in the app. It's usually a lounge, the theater, or a restaurant. You just walk there. A crew member scans your medallion to prove you were there, and you're done. Now, standing in lines, no long speeches. You can find your muster station at the back of your stateroom door. Now, here's a pro tip. Your muster station usually corresponds to where your cabin is located in the ship. You have a forward cabin, you will probably be muster station A. You're in the aft, you will probably maybe muster station D. Even if you go to the wrong one, the crew will direct you to where you should go to check in.
So do this the second you step on the ship. Most muster stations are located on the lower decks, deck 5, 6, or 7. And since you'll likely be heading up to the Lido for food anyway, just stop by on your way up. If you wait until right before Sailaway, the elevators will be a nightmare and the cruise director will be making announcements over the speaker, calling out remaining staterooms. Don't be that person. And don't worry about your life jacket. You don't need to bring it with you from your room. The crew just wants to make sure you know exactly where to go in the event of emergency. It takes about 60 seconds of your time, and then you are officially cleared to start your vacation guilt-free.
Yeah. One of the best things you can do after boarding is slow down and orient yourself. While everyone else is rushing to the elevators, take a moment in the piazza. Grab a deck map or open the Princess app to get your bearings before the crowd fully settles in. This is the golden window. This is the best time to handle the business of your vacation. Head to the dining desk to confirm your reservations or stop by the Lotus Spa to book those treatment times. If you do this now, you won't be stuck in a line later when everyone else realizes they forgot. When it comes to that first meal, most people will follow the herd and straight to the Horizon Court Buffet on deck 15. Now, get me right here, it's great, but it can feel like a contact sport on Embarkation Day. If you want a pro start, head to the International Cafe in the Piazza for a quite good gourmet sandwich or salad. If you're in the mood for a burger or pizza, head up to the Lido deck and try the Salty Dog out or the pizza and ice cream spot located on the port side. You may want to check your daily planner. One of the main dining rooms is probably open for a sit-down lunch, and it's a much calmer way to start your trip. Let's face it, having someone wait on you is much better a vacation vibe than fighting for a table at the buffet. While you're waiting for your staterooms already announcements, this is also the best time for a photo walk. The ship is absolutely its cleanest, the pools are sparkling and pretty much empty, and you can get those perfect shots of the Skyworkers nightclub or the piazza without hundreds of people in the background.
And a quick reminder on the wine rule. Princess allows you to bring one 750 milliliter bottle of wine or champagne per adult. If you brought a bottle, make sure it's in your carry-on. If you put it in your checked luggage, it might get flagged by security, and you'll have to make a trip to the naughty room to retrieve your bags. Speaking of carry-on, keep them light. You might be hauling that bag around for 2 or 3 hours. If you have a heavy suitcase, consider dropping it off with the porters at the pier and just keep a small backpack with your essentials, like your medication, swimwear, or that bottle of wine. Once you've eaten and explored, find a comfortable lounge chair by the Calypso pool, grab your first drink of the day, and just breathe. You've made it.
Yeah, look, We want to be real with you. Embarkation Day is a massive logistical puzzle. There are thousands of people trying to get on and thousands more who just got off. Lines happen, technical glitches with the app happen. Waiting is a part of the deal. But here's the secret. The Ruby Princess experience in San Francisco is very manageable. Yes. If you just go with the flow. The biggest mistake we see is people arriving with high stress levels, expecting a 5-star luxury terminal experience. Remember, Pier 27 is a working port. It's functional, not a palace. You might find that your luggage doesn't arrive at your stateroom until 5 or 6 p.m. Don't panic. The crew is moving thousands of bags. This is exactly why we told you to keep your medications and a change of clothes in your carry-on. If your bags haven't arrived yet, it's just more time to go explore the ship. You'll also notice that some areas of the ship, like elevators or the guest service desk, will be swamped in the first few hours. If you have a non-urgent question, wait until the second day. The lines will disappear and the staff will be much less overwhelmed.
Once you adjust your expectations and realize that the hustle ends the moment you hit the deck, the day flows so much better. Don't let a 20-minute wait at the security ruin your first sunset at sea. Think of today as a transition day. You're leaving the real world behind and entering the cruise world. It takes a few hours to sync up, but once you're standing on that deck with a cold drink in your hand, all the terminal stress will be a distant memory.
Now, whatever you do, do not be in your cabin or deep inside the ship when the lines are tossed. San Francisco offers arguably the most iconic sailaway in the United States. You'll want to head up to the upper decks, 16 or 17 are prime spots, as Ruby Princess pulls away from Pier 27. You get a front row seat to see the Coit Tower, the Transamerica Pyramid, and the entire city skyline. You can look one way and see the Bay Bridge and turn and you'll see the incredible skyline, and keep turning and you will see the next destination, which is the Golden Gate Bridge.
That is the real main event, and it happens about 20 to 30 minutes after departure, passing under the Golden Gate Bridge. It is a cruise tradition to be on deck for this. From the top of the ship, it looks like a funnel is almost going to touch the bottom of the bridge. It is a heart in your throat moment every single time. It's usually windy and chilly as you hit the open ocean, so keep that jacket, as we mentioned earlier, handy. The atmosphere on the deck is electric, with music playing and everyone taking photos. It's the official we're on vacation mode. Watching the city fade into the fog behind Golden Gate is the perfect end to Embarkation Day and the perfect start to your journey. If you have questions about the San Francisco port, drop them in the comments.
Yeah, we hope this step-by-step guide makes your Ruby Princess embarkation as smooth as possible. If you found these tips helpful, give the video a thumbs up. And if you're curious about what the rooms look like or what the food is like on board, check out our full Ruby Princess tour, linked right there. There, maybe. And if you're continuing along with the Ruby Princess series, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, everyone.